This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1384, What Happens When You Take Full Responsibility for Your Life, by Benjamin Hardy of benjaminhardy.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Welcome back to Optimal Living Daily, or the OLD podcast, where I read to you from some of the best blogs I can find and get permission from, covering self-help, minimalism, productivity, anything that I think is worth your time. Before we get to it, investing can be hard and confusing, especially with ticker symbols and charts flying back and forth on business channels like it's the runway at LAX. But why should something so important to your family's future be left up to the talking heads on CNBC? Enter the Motley Fool. They give you straight talk without the fancy jargon and noise you're used to. Their flagship service, Stock Advisor, gives you 2 brand new stock recommendations every month with daily analysis and coverage coming directly to your inbox daily. So what are you waiting for? Go to www.fool.com/optimallivingdaily to learn more and claim an exclusive discount only for listeners. For now, let's get right to it and start optimizing your life. What Happens When You Take Full Responsibility for Your Life, by Benjamin Hardy of benjaminhardy.com. Most people are too afraid to commit to anything because they already know they're going to break their commitment. This internal fear is the primary challenge, yet compounded by another, more external challenge, namely that the systems of society are set up to work against you. If you don't make a definite decision about what you're going to do, despite the opposition you'll face along the way, you're screwed. It won't happen for you. You'll be left lethargic, unconscious, and indefinite. You'll be swayed by external conditions which are inherently meant to slow you down. However, when you make a decision, things will start to shift. Regardless of the absurdities around you, you'll get momentum. Stuff will start happening, but only when you're serious and resolute, come hell or high water. 4 realities exist. 1, indecision is potentially your greatest threat. 2, most people are drifting, which means they haven't taken command of their mind or their life. Drifting is when you let external circumstances determine where you go in life. 3, just before any substantial breakthroughs, you will experience darkness and defeat. And 4, when you take control of your mind, you realize the quality of your thinking reflects your current potential. In his book, Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill describes a meeting he had with his other self, which operated entirely out of faith and definiteness of purpose. 0 fear, 0 uncertainty. This other self seized upon Hill immediately following several months of deep depression. He listened to every word that came from his other self, no matter how bold or audacious. He listened with exactness, no questioning at all. This voice told him who to seek for financial aid in publishing his books. It told him to book world-class suites at hotels when he didn't have the money to pay for it. It gave him brilliant business ideas, which he acted upon immediately. At a personal and professional rock bottom, Hill entered a mental state with infinite power. Having spent over 25 years interviewing the most successful people of his era, he had heard others talk of this mentality, yet he had never experienced it himself. Now he was having an experience that validated everything he had learned. Many others have been gripped by their other self. Tony Robbins explains this notion as a 3-part process. Make a decision while in a peak state, committing to that decision, and resolve within yourself that what you have decided is finished. It will happen. If you don't make your decisions in a peak state, your decisions will be weak and small-minded. When you make your decisions while in a clear and edified mental place, you'll put yourself on a more elevated trajectory. Making a commitment means you're seeing it through to the end. It means you're leaving yourself no escape routes. You're burning any bridges that might lead to lesser paths of destruction. Your decision has been made. There's no going back. You've passed your point of no return. Where decisions are made in a single moment, commitment is seeing those decisions into the future, especially when life gets difficult. Resolve means it's done, said Robbins. Quote, it's done inside your heart, therefore it's done in the real world, end quote. When you are resolved, there's no question whatsoever. To quote his heirness, Sir Michael Jordan, quote, once I made a decision, I never thought about it again, end quote. Very few people make this level of decision. Most people have an incredibly weak relationship with commitment. People break commitments to themselves all the time. They perpetually lie to themselves. When you can't trust yourself to do what you tell yourself you're going to do, you're not going to make any real decisions. Rather, you'll dwell in a state of indecision, which is a weak and powerless state. A challenge to anyone hearing something deeper from this message. Many people will hear this article and think I'm being eccentric, or they'll quickly dismiss my words. This article wasn't written for those people. However, if you are feeling something inside of you wanting to be more in your life, I have a personal challenge for you. Make a decision today, something you've wanted to do or have been planning to do for a long time. Commit to doing that thing. Resolve within yourself that you already have it in you. If you didn't, it wouldn't have been gnawing at you all this time. Research has found that when people commit to something, their desire to be seen as consistent drives them to act according to the commitment they've made. Commitment has been defined as pledging or binding of an individual to behavioral acts. For example, one study found that people who made a public commitment to recycle were far more likely to do so than those who didn't make a public commitment. When you make a commitment, you develop a self-concept that lines up with your new behavior. This perceptual shift is your cognition, values, and attitudes aligning with your new behavior. Hence, your desire to be viewed as consistent, firstly to others and then eventually to yourself, shifts how you see yourself. You begin to see yourself based on the commitment you've made. Eventually, if your behavior matches your commitment for a long enough period of time, this study argues it takes around 4 months, your attitudes will also change. Fake it until you make it? No. Make the decision you want to. Eventually, you grow into that decision through your commitment and personal resolve. Your goals are something you grow into. This isn't faking anything. It's living with intention. It's living with definiteness of purpose. So what's the challenge? Publicly commit to something today. Don't be rash or impulsive about this. Think about it for a moment. Make a plan. That plan doesn't need to be elaborate. In the least, consider the goal you have and a few sub-goals that would be required to achieving your larger goal. Research has found that non-planned reward seeking is the fastest path to impulsive behavior. Don't put the cart before the horse, but make a decision. Make it highly public. Then create conditions that make the achievement of your commitment inevitable. Leave yourself no outlet. Make it a habit, your deepest devotion, to respond to your conscious voice immediately. Never drown it out. What you will quickly find is that by acting upon these subtle impressions, they will quickly get bigger and bolder. Your confidence will increase. You will continuously make more powerful decisions because you'll consistently be in more powerful conditions. Good luck. You just listened to the post titled, "What Happens When You Take Full Responsibility for Your Life" by Benjamin Hardy of benjaminhardy.com. Now, ever wondered how to invest or struggle to understand how to make your money work for you? You probably want to hear about The Motley Fool then. The Motley Fool was founded 25 years ago in a garage by brothers Tom and David Gardner. And in those 25 years, Motley Fool members got access to recommendations like AOL in 1994, before You've Got Mail was a movie, Amazon in 1997, before Prime Day was a thing, Netflix in 2004, before you were binging Stranger Things, and Marvel, now Walt Disney, in 2004, when Tobey Maguire was still Spider-Man. Every month, Tom and David each pick a stock and provide a deep dive and analysis exclusively for members of their Stock Advisor service. Members get exclusive access to the Stock Advisor website with daily updates that cut through the noise of the financial market. So what are you waiting for? Go to www.fool.com/optimallivingdaily to learn more and claim an exclusive discount only for listeners. And I have that link in this episode's description. I'll leave it at that. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for being here and listening to me and for subscribing to the show. And I'll be back tomorrow reading to you. So I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.